So first, I want to get your thoughts on today's hearing, including those recent findings about Instagram and teenage girls and their image. How damaging have these revelations been?
Well, this is not the first time that Facebook has faced these kinds of allegations. If you remember, we were together not long ago talking about privacy issues and the like, along with some of the other big tech companies. This round of allegations against Facebook, though, seems to be quite serious in that it is coming from both sides of the aisle. Both Republicans and Democrats have serious and major concerns about how Facebook does its business. With respect to the image issue and Instagram, I think one of the most important points that has come out is that Facebook has known all along what it's been doing. This is not something that's incidental to its business. In fact, it's quite purposeful.
So then to that point, then, we keep hearing that phrase, people over profits. Profits over people. We did hear that in that testimony today when it comes to Facebook's model. How fair is that accusation, and where does that responsibility lie between the company versus, say, parents letting their children get on these platforms?
It's an interesting question for not only Facebook, but a number of technology firms who have been wildly successful by any measure. Facebook is almost $1 trillion market cap company. We just heard your reporter say that the shares of stock were up today by 2%. The market, the market seems to be rewarding this company for its success, not necessarily for its morals or principles or ethics. That having been said, it is something that it is a troubling issue for Congress. Congress seems to always be chasing, unfortunately, fighting the last war, or in the case of technology, always a step behind what the technology company firms are doing, so that in any regulatory regime that can be put forth is really looking at behavior that perhaps Facebook will abandon in its quest to be more profitable. Does it put profits over people? Absolutely. We are all victims in that respect in terms of our data, and particularly in terms of kids. I'm the father of a young woman, and these allegations are quite troubling when it comes to the deliberate nature that Facebook has set about doing with respect to teenage girls on Instagram.
And as you mentioned, this isn't the first time that Facebook has been accused of this. So how are they responding this time?
It's interesting. Facebook has from time to time invited regulation. They said, come on, let's look at some of the issues. But I think the testimony today, wherein Ms. Haugen has said, don't look at anything but the algorithms. That seems to be the black box, the secret sauce, so to speak, that drives the real mechanics of the company. And so if at any time Congress and the regulators decide to look deeply there, that's probably where they're going to find the most success. It is quite challenging because let's face it, these companies are wildly successful, wildly embraced by 3 billion users globally. So, consumers, users have their points of view and perspective with respect to the utility of these companies, and yet the marketplace rewards it, and then regulators are trying to find out how to get a grip of it. Facebook says, come on, regulate us. We welcome that. I'm not so sure how benign that is. It may very well be something that has been scoped out in terms of a strategy that just allays ultimate regulation and perhaps even breakup.
Now, if anything sort of threw into the spotlight just how much we are into these social media products, we had Monday's product outages for Facebook for several hours. How costly has this been, not just for advertisers and the influencers who rely on this, but what about small businesses and Facebook's bottom line itself?
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, I think we will look back on that outage as just a blip along the continuum. So there was an outage which affected, I don't know the number, but quite a lot of businesses, enterprises globally, not just in the United States, but globally. So, there were some losses of financial, economic loss, period. Next step, next sentence. Facebook has moved on again, according to your reports. The market has rewarded Facebook's responses. It's up 2% today. The market cap is, close to $1 trillion. Doesn't seem to be affecting the steady march towards ultimate profitability. It is, in fact, a monopoly. I do believe that the outage demonstrated that quite clearly for the world to see.
So just quickly then, given all that's already happened in this short week so far, where does the oversight conversation go from here, both internally and externally?
Yeah, interesting question. The success, in my view, will come when Facebook legitimately sits down with the regulators and with the policymakers, opens up its entire business, complete transparency, and says, look, here's how we do business. Here's where here's our data. Here's where we make money, and then let's find a way so that we won't have these episodes time and time again. To the regulators and to the policymakers. Let's work together. That, in my view, is the only way this is going to happen. The antitrust laws are in the process of being reviewed by Congress. Who knows what that will end up being? I do believe there will be some bipartisan agreement as to the need for revamping the regulations in the United States and the antitrust rules. But that's going to be quite some time because, as you pointed out at the top of the hour, the U.S. has a number of really big issues, economic issues to grapple with. This is important, but I'm not sure if there's going to be the congressional will and the longstanding permanence that needs to be done to make some real effective change in this area.
Indeed. Well, thank you. We do appreciate your insights. Adonis Hoffman there, CEO at the Advisory Council and Chairman at the American Social Impact Foundation.